me, Marina. It's the Marina Show. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Marina Show. I'm your host, Marina. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to try to keep you captivated this time. I know it's been a little bit boring. Who are we kidding? I'm so entertaining. Okay, I have a lot of confidence, can you tell? Why? Because I am a child of the Most High. I am a child of God. So today I want to talk about two things that don't really seem related. Having joy and being confident. What do those even have to do with each other at all? Let's try to find out, okay? So I find, as you know, I keep on plugging in this little tidbit about me, but I do this group called G for G. And that's for high school girls, and you could be in high school, you could be in university and watching this. And what we talk about is things that actually strongly affect teenagers. And something that I've been doing this for about 4 and 5 years, something that I've been seeing over and over again is this inability for women to love themselves. There really seems to be a big hurdle for girls my age and younger to be able to love themselves and embrace themselves. And when you don't like yourself, that definitely affects your ability to feel and to sustain this feeling of joy. First thing I want to do is talk about the difference between joy and happiness. I always think of it like this. Happiness is not joy. Happiness for me comes from the word happen. Something needs to happen for you to feel that way. That's what happiness is. It's contingent on your circumstances. Joy is something else. Joy is something that permeates every single thought, every single circumstance, every single trial that you have in your life. And as Christians, we are called to bring this light into a very, very dark and broken world. And something I've experienced my entire life is that people will never say no to someone who is bearing the light that is joy. What I'm trying to tell you, ladies, and you men, is that if we are called to the responsibility of bearing that joy, of having that light, of being a beacon of light when you walk into a dark office, when you walk into a dark classroom, when you walk into a depressed family, when you are that light, that is a heavy burden, a beautiful burden, but a heavy one. And if you do not have a strong foundation of confidence, you will not be able to hold that. So in order to not crumble, we're going to talk about confidence and how it relates to joy. Okay? And you guys probably think I'm crazy, and I am. But let's look at Galatians 2:20. You should know that this is my favorite verse in the world. And I know I've said that like 6 times. But let's read it, okay? We'll read the verse before it. Oh, look, my Bible is absolutely falling apart. And what did I teach you guys last time? Say it. Huh? It is a Bible that's falling apart usually belongs to somebody who isn't. It's a great sign if your Bible's falling apart, because that means you read it and that your soul is actually well put together, okay? So let's read 19. For I through the law died to the law that I might live to God. I have been crucified with Christ. It is no longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me. And the life which I now live in the flesh, I live by faith in the Son of God who loved me and gave himself for me. It is no longer I who lives, but Christ who lives in me. I don't get it. How does Christ live in you and you have no confidence, you have no self-esteem? Don't tell me that you're a Christian if you have no self-esteem. That's absolutely incongruent. New word for you. Incongruent means it does not match. Something that's congruent is the same. You can plug them together. Something that's incongruent are two thoughts that don't supplement one another. Hello, my name is Marina. It is not I who live, but Christ who lives in me. Oh, I know Christ lives in me and stuff, but I don't have any self-esteem. I have no confidence in myself. Absolutely wrong X, okay? So what I'm talking about is how do I literally know that Christ is living in me? Let's break down this verse. So first he says, it is no longer I who live. No longer. So I'm not acknowledging that you guys don't have problems. But guess what? That I no longer lives. So let's use Marina as an example, myself. That Marina that is not confident about how tall she is, not confident about how big her hair is, not confident that her skin isn't as fair as her friends, not confident in her ability to do well in law school, not confident in this, scared of her kinesthetic abilities, not good with her hands. I struggle with so many things, even though I appear confident on the show. This girl that's scared that people won't love her, that men won't love her. Every girl has that fear, okay? Feels unaccepted by her family, feels like she won't be good enough, feels like her dreams are fluffy and not going to be attainable. That's all me. That's I. That's all me. Think of all of those things and pile them onto yourself right now. What do you think about yourself? And it's okay if that's negative. That's no problem. We're going to deal with that, okay? So if that's negative, so it's no longer I who live. So take that person, take that unconfident person, that person that may hate herself, that person that's had very, very dark thoughts, take her out. Because St. Paul comes bearing the good news. He is the greatest example of joy and confidence, okay? He comes bearing this news and he says, it's no longer I who live. I'm ill in the flesh. I don't want that. I am not living here anymore. Because of God's salvation, it is no longer I who live, but Christ. Christ who what? It's not that he says Christ is in me. He says Christ lives in me. Lives in me. When I'm talking to you, do you see Christ or do you see me? Because let me tell you something. If you see bad things, you are not seeing Christ. If you see someone who is not confident, not sure in her abilities, not able to spread light, you are seeing an unconfident teenager. You are not seeing Christ. Okay? So the beautiful thing is, he doesn't just say, Christ lives in me. He completely disregards himself from the equation. He says, it is no longer I who live, but what? Christ who lives in me. So in order to remove one part, you have to supplement it with something even more beautiful. Okay? So as I told you before, when Christ is the one that's living in us, our life becomes transformed. Okay? It's a certain joy. Okay? In the Thanksgiving prayer, we always pray, let us give thanks to benefits and mercy of God, for he has covered us, helped us, guarded us, accepted us to him. When we just rhyme it off and we keep going with our day, we say it in the morning, we say it at Ashe or whatever. But let's actually think about it. For he has covered us, helped us, guarded us. Okay? I love, my favorite one is covered us. Because God covers our sin. He covers our inability to be confident. That is such a beautiful prayer. Whenever I pray Thanksgiving, I always dwell on God has covered us, okay? So when Christ lives in you, that's a covering up of the flesh. Love covers what? A multitude of sin, okay? So if you feel that you are leading a life of sin, or that your thoughts, you're upset about the thoughts that you have towards yourself, I want you to say one thing to yourself, okay? It is no longer I who live, okay, but Christ who lives in me. Then I want you to remember that love covers a multitude of sin. How do we connect those two? God is love. Christ is the Son of God. He is God. Okay? So, it is no longer I who lives, but Christ who lives in me. Christ is God. God is love. Love covers a multitude of sin. That's the 4 points that we're coming out with. Okay? And by multitude of sin, I want to expand that for you. I want that multitude of sin to be every fault that you've made, every mistake that has ruined your confidence. Let it be covered. Let it be made white as snow, as we say in Psalm 50. Make me white as snow. Let God's love cover you. All right? We're going to go through it one more time. I know you guys are bored and want to change the channel, but your mom's like, Ismail bint bint ul eh. So we'll stay. All right? So I'm going to wrap it up really quickly. So what happens? I'm unconfident. I have problems with my self-esteem. I don't think people are going to accept me. I don't think I'm going to love me. My message to you today is, you are the living image of God. And what St. Paul says is, what does he say? It's no longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me. You're gone out of the equation. God is substituted in. He is love, and love covers a multitude of sin. Be confident and be joyful. We'll see you next time on The Marina Show.